Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson and this is my Snapchat Q&A. Let me just put that onto silent. I am going to be taking questions today from Snapchat as usual, but we're also going to be checking out Reddit as well. And if you don't know what the Reddit one is, the Reddit one is on my channel on Reddit, which is r/Howson, and it's the YouTube/podcast/Howson's Bullshit Corner. So go and find it on there, r/Howson. The link is in the description below. If you've got a longer question that you can't quite fit on a Snapchat or anything like that, bang it in there. That's the place. I will answer some of them as like essay style answers, but I'm going to answer them in videos as well. So if you are watching here, you haven't got a Snapchat and you're like, how can I get in contact? Sign up for Reddit. It's quick, it's easy, and there's loads of top stuff on Reddit as well, not just the place that we can discuss about this channel. So let's get cracked straight into it then. So Jordan O'Flynn is with the first one, and it's got Jordan's streaks. Oh, I didn't see what that said. Jordan Rustler, favourite United player, and what card do I have? I have an old-ass Astra, and my favourite United player is Eric Cantona. Tom Burke says, opinion on Indy Boonen. Indy looks decent. He's got a long way to go to develop, but goes past players nice. Got a little bit of a Januzaj about him, but perhaps maybe a little quicker than Januzaj was. Likes to dribble with the ball maybe a little bit more than Januzaj does, but he's that sort of, got great balance, great sort of body shape. It looks decent. Long way to go for him though. Marius says, where can you watch the under-21 and under-18 matches online? Greetings from a fan in Norway. I'm not sure, mate, but if you ask the question on Reddit, on the Reddit group, I think there'll be some people able to provide you with some links in there. And he's also sent me what looks like his fantasy team as well. Alex Bamford says, is Lingard good or just overrated? He's not going to win a Ballon d'Or, and I don't think anyone expects him to win a Ballon d'Or, but you need a blend of people in your squad. You've seen with the Galactico squads that Real Madrid have had throughout the years, that they don't work, do they? They just somehow don't work, and you're looking at it on paper and you're going, squad's fucking amazing, what's going on? I fully expect that the Bayern Munich squad maybe won't reach the potential it should, because it's absolutely dripping in world-class players. You need players of different abilities. You need players on the back end of the career who have got experience and maybe wouldn't be asked if they don't play too much. And I'm thinking like Ibrahimovic and Rooney sorts and Carrick. And then you need players coming up, like you've got your Rashfords and stuff like that. And then you need players in the middle. You need players that are just pure grafters. And if you look at all the most successful sides, there's always players that come in and do stuff like that for you. So 1999, Manchester United, Roy Keane and Paul Scholes miss out. Now, if you'd have had another Roy Keane and another Paul Scholes on the bench waiting to go, maybe the team harmony wouldn't have been so well. We saw that from 2001 onwards, where we tried to shoehorn Juan Veron into the same sort of system that Keane and Scholes was playing in, and he does half of the job Keane does and half of the Scholes job, but doesn't really do either of those jobs individually as good as they did, and it just didn't quite work. You can't have someone of that magnitude sitting on the bench. It just doesn't work, and when they come on, they disappoint, and you'll drop first choice players more than you should do because of that, and it ends up just being a complete clusterfuck. So you need players like a Jesse Lingard in your squad. You need that player that you know, do you know what? He ain't the best, but when someone's injured, like maybe Mkhitaryan's the first choice or maybe Matt is the first choice, when you've got the opportunity, you bring Jesse Lingard in, he does a job for you. And if you look at who we brought in the Champions League final, we brought in Jesper Blomqvist and Nicky Butt. Now, they was never in anyone's FIFA Pro World 11, but we won the European Cup because of players like that. And that's what you need. And I think Jesse Lingard is the perfect one for that. He can go on and have 3, 4, maybe even 500 games for United by the time he finishes his career, if he stays here for his entire career. And hopefully he's got championships, and I hope he's got European Cups to his name by the end of it. And do you know what? Do you think he'll be asked that he never won a Ballon d'Or? I don't think so. Jamie Rolfe says, Smalling Blind, Blind Bay or Bay Smalling? Not a fucking clue, mate. Sorry to deflect the answer a little bit there. I think I don't know, because in my head I go, excuse me, Smalling and Bay physically, they're stronger, they're taller, they're faster, but it's not always about that, is it? The distribution that you get from Blind is fantastic. I don't know. That's a massive headache, I think, for Jose Mourinho. If Luke Shaw stays picking up these niggling injuries, then he's not going to have to make the decision. You can play Blind at left back. And I was worried a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you, with Blind playing at left back, but he proved up against Mahrez that he can cope with the pace, especially if he's got like a Rashford in front of him. And obviously the two centre-backs can cover really well as well. So the weakness of having him as a left-back is his pace. He's not going to overlap and he might get done, but his distribution and the threat that he offers from that side and the way he can be able to join in as part of the midfield and keep the ball circulating is brilliant. So he needs to find a spot for him somewhere in the team. There's several headaches in the team at the moment, and what to do with Daley Blind is definitely one of them. Snoop, I don't think it's Doggy Dog, says, excuse me, what's the biggest change Mourinho has to make in his team, formation, players? I don't know if it's a change or if it's just a keep doing what you're doing with what we saw at Leicester. It was the start of what could be something good, and then the Zoira game sort of knocked it back down again. We just need to try to keep replicating what we saw against Leicester, because that was fine. Not just fine, that was great. You know, the fact that we scored a load from corners doesn't really tell the story of the game. We cut them open several times. You need to just keep doing that. Whatever he said to him there, whatever sort of tactics he implemented there, more of that. Saw Dan XJ, if I could choose 3 players for us to sign in the next transfer window, who would I choose and why? Okay, so I can just go completely bananas with this. We need a right back. I don't know who the best right back out there is at the moment. I'm going to say I like Bellerin. Let's bring in Bellerin. So this isn't going to happen, but let's bring in Bellerin. Let's bring in Tony Cruz in midfield, and let's bring in Gareth Bale on the right wing. How's that sound? An hair in my nose is really itchy. Carlos Bourne says, what do I think Jose's problem with Memphis is? Honestly, the game was crying out for him. Like Rashford and Lingard seem to cut inside too much and weren't willing to stretch the defence along like a natural winger will. It's a great picture, by the way. Memphis does the same, to be honest. But I've always wanted to see how he would do on the right-hand side and get to the byline and see if he does throw a cross in or not. I don't know. This is another conundrum. What are you going to do with Memphis? What are you going to do with Marshall? What are you going to do with Mkhitaryan? There's question marks all over the place. What are you going to do with Schneiderlin? How much is Carrick going to play? There's a lot of headaches for him at the moment, and he's got quite a small squad too. Izaz Mukre says, do I think Pep will one day achieve more than Fergie? What, by winning 13 titles in the Premier League? Or do you talk about overall? I mean, overall, maybe. But what Fergie achieved was taking a club from nothing, essentially, to a team that hadn't won the title in 20 years. And within 5-6 years, changed that and we won the title. Pep's never going to do that because he's never going to go to a club. For him to achieve that, he needs to go to... not even Aston Villa, really, because they're too far past it. I mean, he needs to go to Liverpool. The Liverpool side at the moment. If he could do it there and then go on to win 13 titles and European Cups, then yeah. But it's always going to be taken away from, whether that's right or wrong, that he's not proved he can do it with that. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson proved it with Aberdeen in Scotland. That's massive. So you have to weigh up the circumstances that they achieved stuff in as well. That's as much as what they achieved. You can't just look at what they achieved. You have to look at what the clubs have achieved either side of their management careers. And if Bayern Munich go on to win the Champions League this year, you have to say what he achieved at Bayern Munich was shit in comparison to what was achieved with the European Cup win either side of his reign, and he didn't manage to do it. Do you know what I mean? So, maybe one day, I mean, he's young enough, so he easily could. Shane Sands 122 says, where does Mickey play when he returns, considering it's beneficial to play Lingard and Rashford around Zlatan? Again, there's another conundrum. This is... these are real tough questions that we have to see it on the pitch. But you can't just see it on the pitch for one game like we saw in the derby. Mkhitaryan got rushed back, flung in, and then it looked awful in all honesty. You can't judge him on that. You need to judge him on 5 or 6 games in a system that maybe suits him and suits some of the other players around him. So we just need to see him get back into the team, and then we can make decisions on that once he's back in the team, I think. Ben Quinn says, do you go out your way to check rivals like City when they're on TV, or could I not give a shit? I watch football when it's on TV. The thing is, it's often City at the moment, isn't it? So I watch them. I don't go out of my way to watch them, no. But I watch a lot of football, so they're on. I end up commenting about it. I haven't actually seen... I've seen one Liverpool game this year, Liverpool Arsenal. So I don't go out my way to watch them. No, I mean I go out my way to watch more of the youth at United. But if you just watch one club, then you have no perspective, and then you go like, oh, I thought we was going to win that 6-0 against Barcelona. What happened? You need to watch all the clubs, as many clubs as you can, as many leagues as you can, to have a perspective. Otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? Yasser Salah 18 says, were you very surprised whilst watching AlphaTauri recently? Personally, saw where you were coming from, but always saw something in him. Not very surprised, because obviously he doesn't get the trial and the contract that he's got at Manchester United without having something in him. He's clearly doing something in training sessions. But in the games, he always looked frightened. But the last few weeks, I mean, he wasn't great against Everton. He was sort of played as a centre-mid against Everton. I don't think that suits him at all. But I think recently in games, he's relaxed. He looks like he's relaxed. Maybe he's been told, there's no one in this squad. You're going to play every single week. Stop fucking panicking. And once he's relaxed, you can see what he can do, and then you're right, you can see what someone has seen in him going forward. There was games last season where he was terrible, and you think you are just not cut out for this level whatsoever. But they've persisted with him. I don't think he's ever going to be a Manchester United first team player, but I definitely think he's got a career in football ahead of him. It's just where that is. CDon1999 says, would I like us to have a green and gold kit again? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't know if it would be a Glazer decision to not go with a green and gold one. But at the same rule, they could completely squash the whole green and gold anti-Glazer campaign by releasing one, couldn't they? That one in... the one from '94, that was a hell of a kit, that. One of my favourite kits of all time. Joshua Molika says, if I could pick any right back to join us, who would it be? I know Damian, Timbo Riley, Valencia can do a job. Like I said before, Bellerin's a wonderful right back. I love his pace. I love his ability on the ball. Defensively, I think he's all the rest of it. So I like Bellerin. I haven't really noticed anybody else worldwide, I think, that really stands out as a right back. Michael Marge thinks this is a video, so let's turn it up. Do I keep ketchup in the fridge? I do. The missus puts it in the cupboard sometimes. I have to go and put it back in the fridge. And then he's on the old leg press. Nice one. Abrahami says, can I see Spurs, Arsenal, City, Leicester winning the Champions League or making the semis? Yes. Arsenal, City and Leicester. I'm not sure about Spurs. They've not looked at the races this year. Leicester, I think, will surprise people if they continue to play with that English mentality. City have got the ability to go to the semis or even the final. Don't think they'll win it. And Arsenal, on the day, they could turn up, but when the pressure's on, they seem to fold, don't they? But I think all of them could do, yeah, apart from Spurs. I don't really see it with Spurs at the moment. Max says, what do I think of Fellaini being in the starting 11? I think he offers nothing in attack. Fellaini's a conundrum, because I don't want to come down too hard on Fellaini. I think there's issues with several players. He looks like he's doing more or less the right thing. I just think even him playing his best, there's better out there, and there's better at the club. And I think you get a better team without him. And I don't like saying that about anyone, really, because I think he comes across as a top sound bloke, and everything you hear about him at the club is that he's super nice to everybody. But you can't really be sentimental, and there's no room for that sort of stuff, is there? You've got to go and be ruthless and say, what's the best that we can do? And I think the best that we can do is not Marouane Fellaini. And Ashley Young as well. Hash says, do I think the players aren't bothered about, as Mourinho is, about Europa League? Well, actually Mourinho come and said, didn't he, at the start of the season, that this club doesn't want to be in the Europa League. And I was like, no, it doesn't. And I was hoping that was him saying, nothing's happening, basically. We're not going to go for it. I'm sure I put this on silent. Oh, yeah, I've just turned it off now. Amelia Liakin says, what do I think of Manchester music like 80s, like the Smiths or Chameleons? If so, what's your favourite Manc tune? I like a little bit of the Happy Mondays. I like a little bit of the Hacienda stuff, Joy Division. When I think of Manchester music, I think of Happy Mondays, Joy Division. Stone Roses, obviously, but I think that was more like 89, 90, wasn't it? I wonder if you class that as proper 80s music. So yeah, it's literally that. I mean, She's Lost Control, Joy Division, love that one. Obviously, Love Will Tear You Apart is quality, in fact. There's only one out at the moment. There's only one out, and it's this one, Confusion by New Order. But I've got quite a few. I started collecting all of the factory record stuff. So this is Fact 93. Obviously they labelled and numbered everything, didn't they? I have got several of the like really iconic sort of vinyl from that era. Last couple, Joshua Davies. Do I think there's a huge cultural change in kids growing up has affected the mentality of football's real lack of leaders throughout Man United and in the league, whereas players and men in general were brought up to be very masculine in the past? Maybe, I'll sort this out actually. Maybe, yeah, because people have said it before, haven't they? There's a general pussification of the youth and the way people are treated, and possibly, but the game will evolve. It's not just going to be English kids, a load of pussies, but kids from Eastern Europe are going to still be like headbutting walls and stuff. I think it's softening the whole world over. So I don't think it really matters overly too much. I've well knackered up the framing on this, haven't I? Ant994 says, who for next England manager? Wenger. That might not be a bad shout, you know. That might not be a bad shout. You're going to have to find out who's involved in this Premier League 8 thing, aren't we, before we make any sort of guess or judgment. If the Premier League or the FA has to go with the most squeaky clean guy they can go with, it's going to be Gareth Southgate, isn't it? Because the guy's so fucking dull that he's never done anything exciting in his life, so he's certainly never going to have taken a bung. Ollie Oakford says, if you had the chance to drop out of the Europa League right now, would I do it? Personally, I would. I know there's a chance for silverware, but yeah, I agree on that. Yeah, get out of it. Forget it. Let's concentrate on the league. Last one, Jack Dunlop. Do I think Regan Poole can become a first teamer? I think there's a long way for him to go. When you're playing at under 23s, under 18s, you've got to really stand out to make it look like you can handle what's going to come at you in the first team. And I don't think he's really stood out yet. He's been fine. He's not looked like, you've not been going, oh my God, he's shit. Far from that. He's looked okay, but he's never really took hold of a game, and you really should be taking hold of games. Think of what you're trying to do. You're a 1%er of a 1%er of a 1%er if you're trying to get into the Manchester United team. So you've got to really stand out and do that. And some players are doing that. Tuan Zabi's definitely doing that in the 23s at the moment. So not yet for Regan Poole. But it could do. There's obviously potential there with him. All right, let's go Reddit. So that's r/Howson for everybody. I'm worried about the Liverpool game coming up simply because Mourinho is rotating so much rather than trying to settle with a winning team. How do I feel about it, and do I think we will get something out of it? Again, it's another big game on the back of an international break for us, isn't it? Which might not go our way. I would rather us have momentum going into it rather than the stop-start nature. I mean, international breaks, when you just start getting into the flow of a season, they just hit you with just friendlies all the fucking time, don't they? I wish you could maybe do a month. So you go and do 6 or 8 weeks of Premier League and Europe and stuff like that. And then there's like October's international month. So the whole fucking month of October, you know, I might get to see what my wife looks like, or you know, people might get to realise that they've got families and stuff. But as we completely toss off watching United, and then we can go again in November and December, just clump it all together like you have the tournaments in the summer. Have like a winter tournament almost. Have like a winter or an autumn sort of international tournament and get a big build-up for it and get some momentum behind the England team. And not just the England team, all international teams can get some momentum. They can try stuff and they can get like a real club atmosphere going. And then we can fucking forget about it then for like another few months. And then have one again in like, I don't know, March or something. Have another 3 weeks or something where you can cram like 6 matches in. And then everyone comes back to the club, and then you finish the season off, and then at the end of the season you can go fuck off and you can have a bit of another international tournament. Why can't we do that? Why does it have to be every couple of weeks and just never really feel like you fucking get going in the season? I love it when the games just come in thick and fast like that, and then it's like, what do you mean that it's international break? What sort of bullshit's that? But to answer your question, I don't think he's rotating too much at the moment. He's managing the squad with the games that we've got. The first team, he's not rotating. He's trying to find the best 11, or it feels like he's trying to find the best 11. It doesn't look like he's just resting players for the fun of it. He's trying to hone in. You know, at the start of the season, he'd come and he's like, we're going to play 4-2-3-1, and I'm going to play Fellaini in midfield, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then he's like, fucking get him out. All right, let's go to how we're going to get the best out of Pogba. Right, we need to switch it up to a 3-man midfield. Okay, how's that look? Okay, that was still shit. Let's move it on. How are we going to fucking fix it? So, okay, let's try Herrera in midfield. Ooh, I like that. Maybe let's try that again. So let's hopefully see against Stoke. We try that again and we see what happens. So I think that's it. There's a couple more questions on Reddit. Let's go into it. This is a brilliant comment. So, Solzy, I love this. Irony is clearly lost on you, but I absolutely fucking love it. I enjoy your videos on YouTube and the updates about the Academy, reviews we could get more of, like the idea about Reddit. However, I prefer to just watch, not discuss on forums. Hope it works out in here. Peace. That's the best fucking comment I'm going to read all single day. That you've just gone, I don't like commenting on forums, so I'm going to sign up for the forum and tell you that I don't like watching. I only like watching. I don't like commenting on forums. That's fucking brilliant. That honestly, you have made my day. That was the best comment I read. So thank you for that. United under 18s. This is by Jordan Humphrey. How do you find out when and where the under 18s games are, and how much does it cost to go and watch them? Also, are there any requirements like being a United member and stuff like that? I get this asked quite a lot, so this is a good question to ask to end on. It's free to go and watch the under 18s at Manchester United. When they play at Carrington, you get quizzed a little bit at the gate going in, but you're allowed to go in. So just be confident and just be like, know who they're playing for starters, because if they ask you who you're playing and you go, oh, I don't know, they're going to fuck you off. So know who they're playing. Oh yeah, we're playing Liverpool, we're playing City, we're playing Stoke, we're playing whoever. And they go, okay, and then they'll let you in. When they play the behind closed door ones, you're not getting in. Nobody gets in. So when it's behind closed doors, it's properly behind closed doors. They occasionally play the under 18s games at Altrincham. They're free as well. You just walk straight in. Happy days. When we play away, though, if you go and watch under 18s away, that will vary from club to club. It's a £5, it's a £1, it's £3, it's £2. It changes everywhere you go. It's not dear though. It's a pocket full of change, so it's not a drama. The same with under 23s. The under 23s is free when they're at Old Trafford. It's free when they're at Lee. Just walk up, turn up at the turnstile, go through. Obviously they're in stadiums, so it's not as weird as watching it by the grass at Carrington, which is what it's like for the majority of the under 18s. There's 2 little stands there as well with maybe like 4 or 5 rows, maybe 10 across, 15 across. So there's a little bit of shelter from the weather, because the weather's about to turn really shit in Manchester at the moment, and so it sucks sometimes watching. If it's a big game like a derby, there's usually quite a lot there, and it usually has to spill out, and you end up watching it on the side, getting piss wet through. But it's worth going. They are good fun. So yeah, it's free to turn up at United. Turn up, and it's good going and having a mooch around Carrington as well. You usually always spot someone in there as well, be it the manager, be it Bobby Charlton, Paddy Crare, and you'd be amazed how open they are to talking to you once you're inside the ground, in the training ground. The under 23 games, I say, just turn up. But again, when you go away with the under 23s, it varies. You get fucked around at City that you have to go and fucking provide 3 weeks phone bills and ID, and you have to go the day before and fucking hop on one leg and knock on the window at the right time to get the ticket. Southport was a £5 last week. Most places it's free. It's a pocket full of change at the most, as it should be. It should be an opportunity for... Like, here's the thing. When you watch the under 23 games at Old Trafford, it's just rammed with kids. And that's what it should be, because it's kind of tough to get a kid. Like, I take Jaden, but I have to pay nearly 40 quid to take Jaden at the moment, and we come and... I get a ticket in Stretford End Tier 2, and then I just dump him on the seat in between me and my dad. But I understand loads of people can't do that, especially if you've got 3 or 4 kids. You're looking at 150, 200 quid to go and take them to the match, and that's before they want an hot dog, and that's before they want, can I get the shirt or a scarf or a badge or anything like that. So the opportunity to go and watch the under-23s is the opportunity to watch a match at Old Trafford or at Leigh Sports Village and watch the future coming through at Manchester United. I remember going as a kid to watch some of the youth games with my dad, and it was a great way to go and watch. I mean, it was cheaper back then, so it wasn't too bad to go and watch the first team games regardless, but it was always a good opportunity to go and watch. The ground's pretty empty. It feels weird, but it's still the opportunity to go and watch some good live football. So I love that United make it free. I'd really see my ass if United started charging, and it's not about the money, it's the principle. Come in and watch these lads. 'Cause even if it's a quid, like City under-18s the other day, I think they were charging a quid or something like that, or £3. There was a couple of hundred people there. That's not even paying for the floodlights that are on for the night. Just let everyone in. So yeah, come and watch the under-18s. I would love it if Manchester United got a really big following. It's got a fairly big following. But I would love it if our under-23s and our under-18s got a really big following. And that's one of the reasons why I would love us to have our own academy stadium. If you look at the amount of landmass that's around Old Trafford, the amount of car parks that we've got, I don't think that many people drive and use them car parks. A little mini stadium on there, you know, call it the Busby Babe Stadium, call it the Jimmy Murphy Stadium, call it the Duncan Edwards Stadium, call it whatever you want to call it. Have it on site, because that's what City have got, where it's so close like that. It's fucking fantastic. Have it on there, make it a tourist attraction, and have a home for our academy. We've got the best academy in the country. We've got the best academy heritage in the country, and we play at Altrincham and Leigh and on the grass park at Carrington. And if we had our own stadium, we would deck it out with flags. We'd have maybe a bit of safe standing in there. Maybe that's the place that United come and introduce it, because I know they're talking about it. And that would be fantastic. So I think an academy stadium would be fucking brilliant. And there was a bit of talk about it about 6 months ago that they was going to look into it. And I haven't heard anything since. And I would love if we got an update off the club and was like, do you know what? We're fucking having it. We're doing this academy stadium. Because that Manchester United deserve it. And it's going to cost a lot of money. But you know what? That's an investment into the future. Because them lads can make that their home. The fans would make it their home. And I think it'd be fucking great to pack the place out for some of them big games. And I think we'll wrap it up on that. There might have been a couple more messages in there, actually. 1 second. What do I think of the agent's fee? Says Connor McLeod. And it literally just says, what do I think of agent's fee? It's a necessary evil of the game at the moment. I don't think you need agents. But clearly agents is the way clubs sort of get around. You can't directly talk to this player. So they talk to his agent instead, which is, they're talking to the player. Do you think the agent's not going to phone him up straight away and be like, United have just phoned up asking about you? Madness. So anyway, that'll do for today. Thank you for watching us. Remember, we have got the chat group on Reddit. I am pushing that quite hard. Tonight we are going live at 9 o'clock with the live podcast. And if you can't catch the live podcast, it'll be on iTunes shortly after we wrap up. We are talking about all sorts, including the corruption in the Premier League. So please come and join us tonight. We are taking questions from you guys on screen live from YouTube. We'll be on MUFC Latest Facebook, and we'll also be taking some comments from the Reddit group as well. So if you've got anything else that you want to ask us, for me and Ben, then get it in there and we will do our best to answer. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'm really going hard for 30k for Christmas. And if I do, I might have to do a good giveaway for it, I think. So please tell your friends, tell your milkman, shout it out the windows. Trying to get to 30k. Please help us. And do you know what? A like helps because it helps the videos get more visibility. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Laters.